It's time for Inside the Patch with your Las Vegas Raiders. Here's Gnarley Charley.
Welcome back to Inside the Patch, brought to you by 1430 ESPN, your Valley Sports leader. I'm Gnarley Charley, and we want to thank our sponsor, Fresno Rack and Shelving. Nice rack. And as always, we're bringing in the know-it-all. Brian No is with us. Brian, you always have a unique way of takes and everything, and you did call the Buffalo Bill win. You said, yeah, you nailed it.
I could picture you when the Raiders had a beautiful first drive and scored the touchdown. You're like, what is no anyway? Right?
Well,
and then
you would think, but
No.
For me, anytime the Raiders run down and score and I say, oh, I got this, it blows up. And I think it's called adjustments, you know, but I wanted to text you on the first drive.
Yeah.
And then I said, no.
Yeah. It's adjustments, overall roster talent, you know. And listen, there's no knock on the Raiders. The Bills have one of the more talented rosters in the NFL. So,
well, but let's be real. If they can manhandle us like that, then we have no business thinking about the Chiefs or the Bills. I mean, we're not capable unless there's a major change, you know.
Yeah. Well, hey, man, everybody has a stinker. Well, most teams. Maybe the Chiefs don't lose 38-10 anytime this season, but there have been some really good teams that get blown out. It happens, man.
We try to keep our stinker, though, to the middle of the season, not the second game.
It's more disheartening when it's week 2. That's what you're saying?
Well, I'm trying to people don't want to listen to this show to hear us pile on the Raiders. So I have a couple things that I want to run by you.
Okay.
I've got to come to the fact that Josh McDaniels is the coach, and I have to attempt to like him. I don't like him.
How's
I
that
like
going
his press
so
conference.
far?
Not good. I'm looking at him at the press conference, and I don't believe anything. So as I start to not believe things, I start looking at his visor, and I hate his visor then. And then I hate that he's got hair gel sticking up, and I'm not even listening to the words he's saying because I don't believe anything.
What don't you believe?
Oh, well, he's just real vague, and I don't believe he wants to put Hunter Renfrow in the offense. I don't believe he knows how to make adjustments. I don't believe any of the information he's saying. I think he's got another agenda going on. He's like bipolar. It's like, okay. It's like when you know someone's lying to you, like maybe it's, I don't know, your boss or a president or whatever, and you know they're lying. But you're sitting there just, okay, that's what you're running today? That's what's going to happen?
You know, one of the tells, some of my friends, they'll repeat the question I ask to buy time to come up with the lie. So I'll be like, hey, so what were you doing last night? What was I doing last night? I was. So is that Josh McDaniels in the press conference? Has he ever done that?
Yeah, that's part of it. Well, and also he does. I've learned this on Law and Order. He looks to the right or the left before he answers. Which
is the tell? Which way is the lie tell?
I think it would be left lie because of the L, but I don't know. I actually don't know. You know, there's some of those poker tells that people talk about,
right?
And it's really about in poker if you have a weak hand trying to make yourself strong, so you're puffed up. And I think he does that sometimes. I think he knows that he didn't make adjustments, and in the press, he wants to make sure he's not to blame. And if he can, I'm sure he's going to find a way to blame Derek Carr for last week's loss.
Has he played that card yet? Like, Coach, you were outscored 38-3 after taking that 7-0 lead. What do you attribute that to? Is he just a Derek Carr? That's why it's his fault.
You know, it's just put him on the bench. Seriously, I go, this is crazy. All right, here's my other idea.
Okay.
Al Davis was an innovator. Al Davis hired the first Hispanic quarterback and coach, the first black head coach. We had a woman be the CEO of the company.
Mm-hmm.
A was ahead of everything. So I want to hire our next coach, AI. I want an artificial intelligent coach.
See, I was thinking something similar. I was thinking a little bigger.
Yeah.
Go alien. Who's got an alien head coach? No one. The Raiders do. The Raiders are groundbreaking.
Well, I mean, here's what I've learned about AI is that, yes, it pulls from all these sources real quick, but you have to prompt it. You have to tell it things. Much like if you were a head coach of a football team, you might have all this information, but you need to tell it, hey, this run game isn't working. What can we do to make this work? Or why are there receivers open in the middle of the field every time? Every time.
I like how you input the information. Hey, their wide receivers are wide open, constantly over the middle. What can we do about that?
Well, then you have to change it to, you have to tell, in the style of Bill Burr, how would you coach this team to a fifth grader? And then he'll break it down and say, look, snapper head, chicks are weird. And, and maybe we need more communication with the linebackers. I don't know. But
does Bill Burr, does he say snapper head?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was Andrew Dice Clay.
Yeah. I love Dice. Dice was hilarious to me. How about Dice being the father in the what was the movie called with A Star Is Born, right? He was Lady Gaga's father in that movie.
Yes. And I can't look at Dice and not think of Bowser too. I feel like there's a big Bowser look to him. That leather jacket. Bowser. You probably know Sha Na Na, long time ago. It was. Oh, yeah. Anyway, but honestly, AI. Get an AI coach. If we get like the Lincoln thing at Disneyland, you got to get some sort of mechanical thing to go up there and talk.
Well, here's my question: does AI know how to lie? Because if it does, then you've just got the computerized version of Josh McDaniels.
Well, that's true. Well, the thing, like I told you, you have to prompt it. So there are all kinds of people online that tell you how to jailbreak your AI. AI is conditioned not to do anything bad or make fun, but then there's ways around that wall.
And you make it cool, is the way you're telling me. Yeah.
And you make it do whatever you want. And then it always ends with, well, I think we should kill all the humans.
Right. It's iRobot. Yeah.
I mean, so I'm trying to be positive about the Raiders, and we're playing Pittsburgh. We are 2.5 favorite, which means we're not really favored by,
Here's my question, though, and I know you want to be positive on this Raiders show, but that's coming in a bit.
Yeah.
First, though, I don't understand this line movement. So the Raiders started off as a 1.5 underdog.
Right.
And now they're 2.5-point favorites. And who knows where the line's going to be by kickoff, but it's moved. It's moved 4 points.
Well, the only thing I could think is Jacoby Myers and Dante are both. Well, Jacoby's almost in. Dante's playing for sure, but Jacoby's practicing. Right. And that could have changed something. Fitzpatrick was getting a bunch of crap about being a cheating player or doing bad hits. I don't know, but obviously something happened.
What's happening?
Fitzpatrick, he's being accused of being a dirty player,
No. But maybe it's on the Steelers side or on Monday night against the Browns. Their offense looked terrible. I don't know if it's an overreaction to that. I just don't know why the line is moved by 4 points. Normally that's your quarterback is out. TJ Watt isn't playing. It's something like that.
Well, it's weird because I have Pittsburgh defense on my fantasy football, and I'm going into last week. I was going to lose, and all of a sudden they got two touchdowns, got me 26 points, and I was like, oh, I just won. So I'm hoping that they had such a good time that they overlooked the Raiders and have a real letdown.
Man, and the officials let Joey Porter Jr. get away with pass interference at the end of the game. They're like, you grabbed his jersey. Who cares? Whatever.
Just a jersey.
Get out of here. Deshaun Watson's the other quarterback. Screw that guy. I don't know what happened.
What happened to Deshaun Watson? Does he not look slow now? He looks slow.
Yeah.
When he decides to run, he's not like, oh, I was like, that's it?
Yeah. He doesn't look like the same guy. And he pushed a ref. They let him get away with that, too. That was one of the big talking points where he just shoved the guy and they were like, yeah, right, I get it. He's a quarterback. I know they're going to get treated a little bit differently. But I've seen other players get thrown out for less.
Oh, exactly. And, I saw a meme, too. It said, like, the referee, if Max Crosby's getting held, he's like got a guide dog. And then if it's anything else like on the Raiders, they're like totally into it. And I think every team does it. Everything's, they're out to get us, Typical. And I'm trying to not say, oh, there we are, typical Raiders, because we got a lot of different players now.
Oh, man, I'll tell you what, not to take it in a completely different, but it just made me think about if that same non-call happens against the Raiders on Sunday night, Joey Porter Jr. just yanks a guy's shoulder pad. Right. And it's do or die. We got to have the first down or the game's over. In that type of situation, oh, my Lord. You thought you heard some complaining from the Browns.
Hey, Mike,
right?
And Mike Tomlinson, I like him. He's one of the longest coaches now. They're Pittsburgh's only had 3 coaches in their entire time. And did you know his son plays college football? His son scored a touchdown the other day. I forgot the team, but Mike Tomlinson's son.
That makes you feel so old, doesn't it?
Oh,
we've got Antonio Gates Jr. now. He's playing. It's like, oh, wow, cool. That's great.
Ron Rivers' son is a running back for Fresno State. Well, Ron Rivers played for Fresno State 15, 20 years ago. It might be AI. I'm not even sure if it's real or not. All right.
How are you feeling about Sunday night, by the way? You like the Raiders' chances at home?
I like the fact that it's the first game, but now Vegas, the casinos own all the tickets, so I expect to see a lot of yellow.
Yeah.
It's the most expensive stadium, and if you're rich and you're from Pittsburgh, why not? Let's go to Vegas.
Does that tick
Catch
you off?
The game.
Does that tick you off a little bit as a Raiders fan?
Yeah.
Where you tune on the game, it's the home opener, and terrible towels are going to be freaking everywhere.
Yep. They're going to be yellow towels. And just like yellow snow, don't use them. It's bad.
Don't eat the yellow snow.
Don't eat the yellow snow. Don't throw the yellow towel.
Yeah.
And, okay. But remember the Raiders and the Steelers, the rivalries from the 70s. And that was, they hate each other. 73, 74, 75, 76. Dolphins, Raiders, Cowboys, Steelers. Those were like the powerhouse teams.
Oh, absolutely. I went to a Steelers-Raiders game a long time ago. I want to say it was the year after one of the Raiders Super Bowls. So this was
in LA?
It was in Oakland. It was probably 06.
Okay.
Probably. I think that's the time it was. And, of course, there are a lot of Steeler fans. There was a sign, "Welcome to Steeler Country." I'm like, wow, that's bold. In Oakland. Yeah. But the funniest thing, just walking to the game, I loved it. Anybody with a Franco Harris, Terry Bradshaw, any Steelers jersey, all the Raiders fans would just casually walk by. Raiders. They heard that 50,000 times if they were wearing Steeler gear. That is awesome. That's hilarious.
I'll tell you, if the Raiders are playing the Chiefs in Oakland, you want to see the Chiefs fan? He's the guy wearing a green shirt. He won't wear black, but he won't wear red either. Too scared.
The guy wearing the what would it be? I don't know, the North Dakota State.
Yeah.
Go Bison shirt. That's the undercover Chiefs fan right there.
You can always tell. You're not fooling anybody. We know. We can tell.
Hey, look at that guy in the Boise State blue shirt. That's really a Chiefs fan there, too.
100% every time. All right, so you heard about Aaron Rodgers, obviously, but then did you see what God did after that? An American jet. The guy, it's an $80 million jet. The pilot has to bail out, right? Mm. And the jet's lost. They couldn't find the jet. You know, jets are just having a bad name. So this pilot bails, and they don't know where the plane is. They went public and said, anybody seen a jet? An $80 million jet?
Wow.
But then I started thinking, Rodgers is a $50 million jet, basically. Right? Not that far away. But also, if you're a pilot, I know you have to eject sometimes, but maybe you have to stay there a little bit longer when it's an $80 million jet. Like, maybe not the first option, you know?
Yeah. I would imagine he
exhausted everything.
To do what he could. I would feel better. If I had to eject from this plane and it's missing. No one can find it. That absolutely shifts the focus from me having to eject from that plane to where the hell is this plane? How do we just lose a plane?
I'm thinking it maybe he stole it, like some Ocean's 11 thing. Or then why don't they have, I used to surf and I had a little ankle strap to my board in case I fell off. Maybe they should do that for the planes. Some sort of so you're tethered, you know?
I'm thinking more like a GPS tracker, something like that, right? Like,
what'd you think if a plane, you know how much fuel it has when it takes off? You know how fast it's going? You know where he ejected? It can't be that much harder to figure out where this plane went.
That's crazy to me. I don't know how that could happen. Because it had to land. It's not just going. It had to land, had to crash somewhere. Where'd it crash?
But that is, ironically, the second worst jet story this year.
That is so bad with Aaron Rodgers, too, man. How much does that suck? And that's the thing. Listen, every fan base has a horror story to tell. Right. Even the Chiefs. Look how great the Chiefs are with Patrick Mahomes. There was a long time where they could not win a home playoff game to save their lives. Long dry spell. Every franchise has a horror story to tell. But you think about the Jets, look at the bad luck they've had with quarterbacks for so long. And finally they get this glimmer of hope in Aaron Rodgers. 4 snaps, and then the Achilles snapped. Like that. You can't make that up.
And there's no way to protect. You can't put extra padding on your Achilles. You can't. It's just a thing, you know?
I'll tell you what, Gnarls, like you were talking about Deshaun Watson looking slower. Mm-hmm. I know it was just 4 snaps, but Aaron Rodgers had 0 mobility.
Right.
And that happened before the injury. There was one play where he was trying to move around a little bit, and he looked like he was in dial-up speed. So there's all that focus about the turf and should it be natural grass, and that's fine if that helps the players feel more comfortable, whatever. But what was missing was Aaron Rodgers couldn't move. That wasn't anything with field turf, or that's just him being almost 40 years old right there.
You think he's done, or do you think he'll come back?
I think he comes back. I think he'll come back.
Yeah.
Hopefully his body allows him to. I love these reports, too, of this innovative surgery. So if they just so happen to be in the Super Bowl, Rodgers can ride in on the white stallion and save the day. And it's like, okay, cool. So let me get this straight. Zach Wilson just has to get the Jets to the Super Bowl through a loaded AFC. And then we're cooking with grease here. That's the senorio.
And why would you switch him out if he got him to the Super Bowl?
Right, exactly.
It's like, well, sorry, Limpy. We're going to go this way. Some of the funniest memes, it was like this jet, like it's one of those model jets, and they put the jet logo on it, and it just goes up and crashes.
Oh, man.
The jet sees it, or they show Rodgers coming in with the flag, and the Jet fans are like, yes. And then the next thing, there's that guy flipping off the camera. Like, really?
How crazy is that, man? Seriously, that's like a movie script that you would roll your eyes at the theater, right? You'd be like, what? This is so unrealistic.
That would never happen. That would never happen.
Like you just said, he ran out with the American flag on 9/11. He is hope. He is the living embodiment of hope. And 4 snaps, done for the year, barring a Super Bowl appearance, and then we'll see.
That's like $14 million a play. I mean, he gets paid. Maybe they should have had the surgeon be in a dark room and try to do the surgery that way and feel his way.
Here's the question, right? Which would you rather have, Gnarly? Honest question, okay?
Yeah.
And this isn't, I'm not like, talking trash about the Raiders, but they clearly didn't have the same expectations as the Jets this year, okay?
For sure.
The Jets had a top-flight defense. You add Aaron Rodgers. There are high expectations. Not the same thing with the Raiders. Would you rather have lower expectations and a rough year, or would you rather have all this hope, all of this momentum, and 4 snaps, and your heart to be yanked out the way it was for the Jets fans? Which would you rather have?
Well, in a weird way, last year, we had all the hope, and instead of being yanked out in 4 snaps, we dragged it out for 18 games, 17 games.
And
so
then had it yanked.
I would have rather had the Band-Aid pulled off. Week 1, bam, let's get it over with, so I can just deal with my depression,
It's like you have the hairiest arm possible, and this Band-Aid is just slowly being ripped off. Yeah.
It's the worst. The worst. And, I love the Raiders. I'm still rooting for the Raiders. I still get mad when they lose, but not, I'm not committing crimes. But it doesn't wreck me completely. And yet I still every year, and I think every fan does this for their team. Maybe this is our year. We just need this to happen. One crazy roll, one play. It's like golf. You only think of the shots you hit well. You forget about the 95 shots that were horrible.
What's weird is why doesn't poker work like that? Why do we only remember the bad beats and not the crazy triumphs? I don't know.
And why do we feel the need to tell people your bad beat? I mean, when someone starts, here's what happened, and they start laying it out, and I'm not even listening at this point. I don't even know what they're saying. I just try to nod, at the right time, and then just remember at the end, oh man, that sucks. Oh, that's poker.
Oh man, I've been there. Something
that's
like
poker.
That. Yeah. You mentioned Hunter Renfrow. I'm curious what you think about this. So I'm just looking at. They don't even have his odds listed, man. No Hunter Renfrow odds for
He's
Sunday
only been
night.
Thrown to once, and he did make a spectacular catch and almost got paralyzed. The guy could have killed him. He had to dive in front of a free safety, and he did it.
Yeah.
But even Renfro's I think Carr and him had a special relationship, so Carr knew how he would weasel his way and get open. I don't think Garoppolo sees that. Hunter knows I got to get to this point, and he goes the weirdest route to get there, but he gets there. But Garoppolo's already on his next thing.
It's so
Garoppolo's
weird.
Got no time for that.
Hunter Renfro's a really good receiver, and he has had no involvement 2 games in this season. Just nothing.
Well, I see Garoppolo. He'll see Devontae check off him, go somewhere else, but he goes right back to Devontae, and he'll throw it into 2 and 3 coverage. It's like you shouldn't do that. Blue X, hit the blue X.
That's your safety valve, man.
I know.
Hunter Renfrow is a really good safety valve.
I did think one of the funniest things in the Bills game was when Epps, our free safety, who played college ball with Josh Allen, they were on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
And Allen tries to jump over him, and Epps basically just catches him, right? It's like you got your college roommate. It's like a keg party, and he just sets him down. And then Josh gave a hug after. But I was like, I mean, like you and I play, and all of a sudden you're gonna try to jump over me, Brian. You're not jumping over me. You're not.
You're just gonna but
Kevin
Nash power bomb me is what you're gonna do, huh?
Yeah, but then you're gonna light up and kill me other ways by winning the game, like unstoppable. Like it's 4th and 12. I go, they're got to go for that for sure. Why not? They'll get it.
I'll tell you what, man, it's a bad habit of Josh Allen's to be jumping over defenders or trying to. You know,
you're not going to make 12 years. You're not going to make 12 years if you do that. Yeah. You know, it really it's look at Rodgers, man. One play and it's over. Look at Chubb. He's done.
That was so sad, man. I hate that. I hate that so much for him. All these running backs getting banged up. How bad was the timing on the NFL's part to put out this? What was it? I don't know if it was a lawsuit. I forget what they put out. At least a statement at the very least. But they're taking the NFLPA to task because they say the Players Association has informed running backs to fake injuries as leverage. And then you get Nick Chubb out for the season. Saquon Barkley's banged up. J.K. Dobbins, Achilles injury. He's done for the Raiders. You get all the Austin Eckler. We don't know when he's coming back. All these running backs. It's just injury. And the NFL's like, the Players Association's telling them to fake it, which could be true, but terrible timing on the NFL's behalf.
Well, how did Chubb fake that? That's pretty good. Yeah. that's tibia fibia snapping. Yeah. You know,
that'd be a pretty funny tweet in a way, sorta ish. Some dark comedy is I'll quit faking it, Chubb. Signed the NFL.
I like to see somebody crash their car like, hey, you can't park there. It's that kind of thing. Like, dude, nice fake, Chubb. But all right, so Josh Jacobs going to get back on the horse. He looked, and now is it Josh? Because the line has a lot to do with his success,
bro.
And we didn't have an answer for that.
Did you see his stat line from last week? It was like 9 rushes for -2 yards or something crazy like that. I'll pull it up so we're right.
Well, they said it's the first time since like the NFL merger that the number 1 running back has had this dismal of numbers the first 2 games.
Yeah, so he was, let's see. Yep, 9 rushes for -2 yards. He averaged -0.2 each rush. Now, what is that? What? Well, again, like the Raiders might win on Sunday night. Wouldn't blow my mind at all. But for the point spread to shift that much, I'm like, where do you go? I know it's the Raiders' first home game. It's the Steelers' first road game.
But they knew that. They knew that last week. They knew that last week. So something else must have happened. You know.
But what? Like one of my betting friends said there's this huge syndicate group in Canada. They'll put like 7 figures on a game, and they must have put a big bet on the Raiders, and that's what impacted the line movement so much. But that's wild to me, man. Like I said, normally it's a huge injury from the other team, and I don't think that's what's happening here. Crazy.
Well, there's a lot of bodies buried in the Las Vegas desert that have stories that we just don't know. We just will never know. We'll never know.
Yeah, here's my betting friend. Let me see. I put, why has the Steelers-Raiders game moved so much? A group out of Canada called Pantling bet Vegas. They move markets. He bet 7 figures. They can have it. I can't bet Raiders in this spot. That's what my betting friend was saying.
Well, you know, I'll tell you, the Raiders and the Steelers, I think they're kind of in that same, they have the history, but I don't think they're either one going to go far in the playoffs if they even get there, you know?
Yeah. And look, Kenny Pickett's been a big disappointment so far. There were a lot of people expecting a big step forward. I was not one of them. I wasn't on the hype train for Kenny Pickett where, hey, maybe he takes a step forward. Wouldn't be shocking, but 7 touchdowns, 9 picks as a rookie, not highly touted coming out. There was a lot of, I thought, overhype for Pickett.
Well, but for you as a Miami Dolphin fan, you know, Marino comes out, goes to Super Bowl first year. I mean, he just that was his rookie year, Super Bowl, right? No, he didn't go. Did he go?
Second year.
Yeah. Second year. Yeah. And then never again.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
How about Joe Montana recently saying that Dan Marino was the best of all time? He went boat. He didn't go goat. Not greatest of all time. Best of all time is what he said.
And you know what? Because he can't say he is. You just can't. You can't publicly. You can't.
He can't bring himself to say Brady is.
Yeah. No. So I'm going to go right over here. I'm going to go this way.
Yeah.
Give it to Danny. So that'll work.
It was either Dan Marino or Derek Carr, but I can't say it's me or Brady. Can't do it.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. So we got the Steelers, Sunday Night Football. And are you going to Canadian on this? Are Raiders going to win this? Or you don't think so?
I'm taking the 2.5 points with the Steelers. Okay. I'll take those points. I have not gone to see the Raiders' new stadium yet. I got to get there. That's on.
I did the tour. I did the tour.
Yeah.
And you go in the locker room. Where they do the press conference where Josh does all his lying. Yeah. I got to go up there. I started taking questions.
I got to run an impression of him lying.
Yeah. I said, I don't know. Chandler Jones, it's an internal thing. Yeah. I don't know why Hunter Renfro's not getting any balls thrown to him. I haven't called one play all year. I don't know why. And he wears too much gel. The podium was slippery when I was up there from all his hair gel.
Okay. Let's do this little exercise. This might be a weekly thing. I don't know. Okay. I'll give you a story. So when I was growing up, my sister would sometimes say something negative about herself.
Okay.
And my mom would say, I'm going to make you say 3 nice things about yourself if you keep that up. And she would. If my sister said another negative, she'd say, okay, say 3 nice things about yourself. So I'm not asking for 3 nice things. Give me 1 legitimate nice thing that you actually think about Josh McDaniels.
I don't like the way he talks to people. I don't like this. I like that. I'm really having a hard time with this.
It's got to be something.
He could double as a Barney Rubble stunt double. No, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. He gives. No, man, I'm really having a hard time with this. Okay, I liked that. I got nothing, dude. I got nothing. I can't even come up with something. I just feel like he just doesn't take. It's got to be something. You know what? They've had a lot less penalties this year, probably because of the new head coach.
Hey, man, that's at least something.
I need to work on this exercise. If this was any kind of counseling, I just flunked that one right there.
You got work to do, man. You got work to do.
So do the Raiders.
This could change your outlook on Josh McDaniels. I guarantee when you're watching Sunday Night Football, you're going to be actively looking for something that you like. I'm sure you notice something. You're going to notice something.
You're changing the way I'm going to watch. Okay, I promise. There we go.
You like the way he says, let's go, or what? Something, the most minor thing. And you're like, I kind of like that.
He did a high five and he didn't miss. That was great.
Right.
That was good.
That was good.
All right. Brian, thank you, man. Raiders and Steelers are this Sunday night. It's going to be a big matchup. And we'll see you next week to see how it comes out.
All right, man. Enjoy it. I'm taking the 2.5.
There you go. All right.
We'll be back with more Inside the Patch on 1430 ESPN, your official home of the Las Vegas Raiders.